Welcome everyone to this meeting of the Finance Strategy and Management Committee. Thank you to Councillor Lambert for chairing and not running into our meeting tonight. So item number one, apologies for absence.
We have apologies from the Mayor, Councillor Miller, and the Deputy Mayor, Councillor.
Item two, declarations of interest. No. Public participation. To receive questions and comments from members of the public. Would anyone like to contribute as a member of the public? Okay, thank you. Item four, to approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 30th of May. Councillor approved. Second. All's in favour? Thank you. To receive the management accounts, bank reconciliation summary of payments. Comments or questions on these? Oh, before I move on, I'd like to welcome Mercedes to the committee. Today is her first full day, and so we'll be seeing more of her in the future. So welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You all. I think I did actually look at the council website, the Henley Council, the website this morning, just to get familiar with the faces, but it's all forgotten. I do apologize. But eventually I'll be able to call you by your name, or councillor.
Just say councillor.
Yeah, okay.
And we'll try not to ask any difficult questions. This meeting anyway. Next meeting we might.
I'll pass them on to Sheridan.
You're learning fast. Well done.
Yes.
Very well. Item number 5, finance, to receive the management account bank reconciliations and summary of pay. Are there any questions or comments on those? Cheers. Take them on block. I'll suppose that. All those in favour? Okay. Receive the local item 6. So I'm sure it was there somewhere.
I thought.
Yeah, it's that over to this next. Yes. Item number 7, expenditure. To approve the following items of expenditure. So 353, 357 Reading Road. There's a report from the Deputy Town Clerk asking for her to set aside money for SIL for a possible additional planning applications. So these are reports that the District Council may ask us to provide in support of the application. Have you got anything you want to add, or was it all in your report?
I think it is all in my report.
Well, there is some kind, really, isn't there? Because we have had more details back
We have, yes.
from Robinson's, which just literally arrived this afternoon. So I can say that the revised figures are that the noise assessment would cost I think it's 250. The preliminary risk assessment would be 1100. The drainage strategy report 5,000. These are all plus that. And the tree assessment would be 1,500. That comes to 9850, I think. I'm right. So what I would like to propose to replace the proposal on the report, recommended proposal, is as follows. I propose that the council allocates up to 9850 as quoted for later today. 9850 for additional reports to support the planning application for the housing and the clubhouse at 353 and 357 Reading Road in Jubilee Park. This is to be allocated from SIL funds. And an additional contingency of 1,000 is set aside for possible overruns to be justified in writing by the contractor. I propose that. That's what I talked about earlier.
A slight amendment to that, if I may. If not just SIL, but locality grant.
I think
Does that count as SIL for this purpose?
No, it doesn't. So the town clerk and the deputy clerk may want to argue against this, but they were suggesting keeping that additionally on top of the 9850. It doesn't need authorising by this committee, it's just for this purpose. So if it were the intention would be to use the additional locality funds that's left over from the earlier classification that we received. But that if we overrun, we can use both the additional contingency of 1,000 and the additional locality fund, which would make it 9850 plus possibly 1,000 plus. I'm trying to remember what's left from the 1120. 1120.
Is that including the justifications that we covered?
Yes, justification would be any over in the 9850 would be justificated in writing for.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, you happy with that?
Very
Okay.
I'll have to propose that.
Okay,
So I'll second it.
right. Any other comments? All those in favour? Right, thank you. Reserves policy.
And there's,
Oh, sorry, there's the laptop, yes, to via 985 for IT support for the additional office laptop. Can you just explain briefly?
So we did have a spare laptop. It then became apparent that the assistant parks manager doesn't have a laptop and does quite a lot of administrative work. So was allocated a spare laptop, which means that when Mercedes started, then it means that we didn't have when we have a handover, then we need a spare laptop so that we can have one for the handover basically. So it would have meant that Mercedes wouldn't have a laptop. So we bought a laptop through the IT budget. However, we'd ideally like to apply that to capital expenditure.
Which I think is where it belongs. So everyone happy with that? Yeah. Proposal? Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's just a straight account.
All in favour? Good. Reserve policy. We have a report and a slightly retracted reserves policy. Actually explaining the reasons we have a reserves policy. Town clerk, I think.
Yes, certainly. First of all, the eagle-eyed will have seen that actually there's a the wording of the agenda is slightly wrong as well. It should say reserve policy rather than strategic business. We have a reserves policy because in short, it's essential that the council has an adequate amount of reserves to make sure that we can continue to function, but that we don't hoard money. Basically, that's the rough parameters, and the more detailed technical and legislative background to that is laid out in the report. So we're supposed to have, these are all rough guides, but in our general reserve, between about 3 to 12 months work. So that's basically to ensure that you have enough to keep on going, even if for whatever reason you lose an income stream. There is also guidance around how much you should have in total reserves. Basically how much you have from the general reserve plus community infrastructure levy, section 106 money, and capital receipts. However, in practice, because you can only use SIL for certain items and section 106, and capital receipts can only be used for capital purchases, then those thresholds are purely guidance, because you can't fritter away the money on whatever you want to do in order to get the money in order to get it down to a threshold. So even though we do have over 3 million in total reserves, most of that our general reserves are absolutely fine, and our capital reserves can only be used for capital expenditure, and we should only obviously be drawing down on those items that the council think are worthwhile. That's in brief.
Yeah, thanks for the report as well. I think that those particularly new councillors may find the explanation of the different kinds of reserves quite useful. I'm sure we'll do some training at some point. But it is quite a useful introduction, and anyone's got questions about that now or at some point in the future, then sure we'll be happy to explain. So the report in summary says that we, in consideration of our reserves, we have suitable levels, so above the minimum and below the maximum recommendations, and therefore the level of reserves are regarded as will be approved, and the reserves policy slightly reworded in 411 and 412. We approved, so I propose from the chair that 41, 42, and 43 on the agenda.
Second.
Any questions or comments on that?
Can I just ask the town clerk, the document he's put out previously, you have the funds available to spend, and then it's by different months. What is the purpose of establishing the different months, and how should it work?
So it's basically you have to spend SIL within a certain time period. If you don't, in theory, you lose it. And so we keep a tally of when we get in all, when we get the receipts, and then when we spend SIL, we spend it against the oldest receipt, and so we can see how much. And it's not gradual, because, for example, with Highlands Farm, that is a very large receipt. So we know that we might have a few 100,000, but we need to spend by this particular date. I mean, we don't have, to tell the truth, we don't have problems spending it at the moment. We've got quite a few projects that the council wants to take forward, and so I don't think we're at risk of having to give any back. But it is good to keep tabs on it nevertheless.
Just in case anyone, the Silvius community infrastructure levy, so planning applications that are granted, then the developer, if they meet the criteria of being of a certain size, have to pay money to the district council, and we get 25% of that because we have a neighbourhood plan. So this is the money that's come to us. The district council actually gets 75%. We only get 25%. And yeah, a lot of the money from Highlands Park didn't come to us. It actually went to Parkstone, which I'm still bitter about.
They're not.
Because it was only after the planning permission was granted and the work started did Highlands Park actually get moved into the Henley Ward from Parkstone. So
Yeah, its name is London now.
I thought that was better, really, I don't think, and so I'm not sure it's worth £1 million, but anyway, there we go. So yes, the appendix here gives details of the existing results. So I propose and second that. Any more questions or comments? Okay, all's in favour of the proposal? Thank you. Right, item number 9, exclusion of public and press. Thank you to the head attendant for attending, and suppose we consider the public and press be excluded from the remainder of the meeting in accordance with the Public Bodies and Meetings Act 1960, and publicity would be prejudicial to the public interest and the reason of the confidential nature of the business, and so moved.